Even well-intentioned self-defenders can end up in significant legal trouble. Hi everyone, this is John with today's active self-protection lesson out of Jackson, Mississippi. Shows us an escalating conflict here with a man who sees another man who is assaulting or trying to break into his car. Going to learn some important lessons here about why we want to be very cautious in doing that, about the necessity of empty-handed skills for self-defenders, and we're going to talk a little bit here about the aftermath of a deadly force encounter. Make sure that you go read the news story on this one that is linked on my website, links in the description, that this young man has just been dropped off at a local detention center and run away from it, and now he's decided he wants to get into this Lexus in the parking lot next door. And he's throwing rocks here. You can kind of see them. It's not easy to see, but you can see it's something heavy that he's throwing for sure at the windows, trying to get into this car. Well, you know, there's employees in there as he's trying to do that are starting to hear what's going on. And while one of them calls 911, what we're about to see here is the door is going to open and one of the executives of the company is going to come out. And he actually has a firearm on him and he's going to try to stop this young man and get him to obviously quit throwing rocks at the Lexus here. Now, it's hard to see because the door obscures it and there's not a video camera over there, but you saw the perp run around the car here. And now as they come back around the other side in just a second, what we're going to see here is now he's able to close that distance and he's now in a hand-to-hand fight with this other guy, with the employee of the store, and they're fighting for the gun that the guy has out. So finally the employee is able to wrest the gun away and shoots this young man twice in the chest, and this one is over. Now the lady getting out of the truck here is the mother of this young man who just died, who had just dropped him off at this detention center to hopefully get some more treatment. But she's not going to be able to do anything as our defender is going to take a knee there, put the gun down. Now that looks like a sheriff's deputy to me who has come over and secured that firearm. And this one's over, folks. Nobody's giving him any kind of first aid or anything like that. Even though he's been shot twice in the chest, they're just going to kind of wait. And if you watch the longer version, the original surveillance video on this is like 35 minutes long. I've definitely sped it up just for the sake of time. They're going to get the paddy wagon out there and everything's over. Now, there are 8 lessons from this one on our website. Make sure you go back there and check them out. But let's talk about some of the most important ones here. And this first one is, as these things go down, you know, sometimes the evil that you're going to face isn't really evil. It's deranged. And this young man has a history of mental illness and a history of challenges going back quite a ways. He's no Boy Scout here, no choir boy for sure. And he's trying to get into this car and rob it. Well, I mean, obviously we have a right to stop people from doing those things, but is it wise? When we're going to see the employee come out here, this man's going to come out and try to stop this kid from breaking into his car. I've been in similar circumstances, know a lot of people who do. Makes a lot of sense. Hey, I'm going to stop the kid from breaking into my stuff. That's okay, but you got to recognize that he has a gun on him. And when you have a firearm on you, you got to change the way things operate a little bit. You got to maintain your distance and know when you can use your firearm and when you can't. This is an incredibly important part of being a self-defender. So he decided to close that distance with this young man a little bit. I would not have done that in any way. Stay as far away as you can from him. Now, what we see here is him coming around the car here, and he is towards this guy. He is chasing him around the car. Doesn't look like somebody who's running away from somebody. It looks like somebody who's running towards something. He's chasing him around the car here. And if you go and read some of the news stories in the description, it says that the defender here actually fired a warning shot. I always say warning shots are a bad idea. If it's a bad enough deal to shoot the gun, it's bad enough to shoot it at the bad guy. But we see here that the young man that's assaulting him has come around and actually closed that distance. And now we have a hand-to-hand fight. Your empty-handed skills are incredibly important to you as a self-defender. So he's able to thankfully maintain control of his firearm here, and to have the ability to maintain control, incredibly important. And then in that moment, certainly looks like a deadly threat to me. The guy's fighting with him for the gun. Our defender shoots him in the chest, and that's going to end this fight. And as soon as that fight is over, he's able to control that and get away from the young man. He stops shooting, and that's incredibly important. But there's a lot still to cover here, because now who else is involved? And we see here that the defender turns his back on an unknown person and his back on the defender. Really recommend you don't do that. Recognize that it's a difficult thing in the moment, but you got to be able to maintain awareness of what's going on. But he does get himself to a safe place, and he does get himself where he can get away if he needs to. And now he takes a knee, and I think that's important. You know, in the aftermath of a deadly force encounter, your mind is going to be going a million miles an hour, your breath is up, and you're going to need to take it easy a bit and get your wits back about you. And he does a good job of that, puts the gun down so that the deputy can come and get it. And he is is compliant with them, which good guys would be. Now, we also want to talk about the aftermath on this one. This man, for some reason, the grand jury has indicted him for first-degree murder. Now, this certainly looks like a defensive encounter to me. Certainly looks like he is the victim here and not the aggressor. But it's going to cost him tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's already cost him multiple weeks of his life in order to defend against these charges. And that's why we say all the time that you really want to have some kind of defensive coverage, whether that's a plan or someone else. You know, me personally, I use CCW Safe. I think they're a great solution for that. To protect yourself against the financial ramifications of having to defend yourself in court after you defend yourself with your firearm. So make sure that you're prepared emotionally, socially, spiritually, and financially for those kind of fights as well. All in all, from a tactics perspective, this man did what he had to protect himself and not be killed. Legally, let's hope he comes out of this one okay, and let's learn some lessons to cover our asp.